Welcome to another inspiring episode of the Elite Expert Insider Podcast. Hosts Melanie Johnson and Jenn Foster are the owners of Elite Online Publishing. They're both Wall Street Journal, USA Today best-selling authors. We're really glad you're here because this podcast was designed for you. Meet industry experts that share their secrets and strategies. Get successful results for your business in money, relationships, health, and your life. Each episode is going to inspire you to take action towards reaching your greatness.
Hey everyone, it's Melanie Johnson. Welcome. We hope you're having a super great day. I'm here with Jenn Foster, my business partner at Elite Online Publishing. Hey, Jenn.
Hey everyone, how's it going today?
All right, awesome. We are here to, of course, educate you, motivate you, and inspire you as always. And if you have a business or you're thinking about starting a business, you need to have strategic planning. You need to have effective business structures and infrastructures in place and identify how to grow and have opportunities and just do it the right way. Because there's a lot of wrong ways to start a business, but we want to teach you the right way to start a business. And, you know, we always say running a family is also like running a business. So if you're running a family, you're a mom, you're a dad, all these things apply to your personal life as well as your business life, I always find. So we have an expert and a #1 international best-selling author, Dorine Rivers, with us today. And she is going to teach us how to make your business fantastic and profitable. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, tell us, Dorine, a little bit how you got started in the business space and how you help people to get their businesses started.
Well, I think I probably started being an entrepreneur at age 8 when I started my first business. A lot of the kids were selling lemonade down the street, and I didn't want to compete with something already there. So I created a product with my brother. We called it Cubesicles, where we froze Kool-Aid and put toothpicks in it. And then we had baby little popsicles we'd sell for 2 cents a piece. And everybody wanted that because it was brand new on the market. And it's really a matter of thinking about something that will sell differently. And so I kind of got my feet wet by creating a business at 8, and I've been an entrepreneur ever since. And I think a lot of people have really great ideas for either a product or a service, and they just simply don't know where to start. And I've spent my career, the last almost 30 years now, helping people start their businesses. And so along the way, I've learned what works and most importantly, what doesn't work and how to avoid the pitfalls of things that will not work well for getting your business up and running and do this instead. And so the book takes that approach from the absolute beginning of why are you starting your business, right up to manufacturing and marketing and getting it into the marketplace and cashing in on the idea that you've had for so long and simply just didn't know how to start.
You know, let's just dive right in. Should we just dive right in? I know you go by Rivers, so I'm going to call you Rivers. We've worked closely together with you. So how does a business owner, you want to start this company, you have an idea, how do you come up with a strategic plan? How do you guide them to have a strategic plan?
Well, the book outlines exactly how to go from A to Z. There are 17 chapters, and it starts with your why. Why are you doing this in the first place? And people say, well, I needed extra money. Well, why do you need extra money? Because of COVID and we got behind on our payments, we need to pay our credit cards off. Well, what will that do? That'll give us extra money when we do that, and then we can send our kids to camp. I mean, there are several layers of why you want to do that. And you have to be very clear about your why, because starting a business is not easy, and it takes grit and it takes perseverance and it takes passion about what you're doing to get you through the hard moments when it becomes really hard, which it will, to get you through that and you keep going, because the end goal of why you're doing it, the end goal will get you there if you know why every day you get up and you do it. So that's the first step. And then it just goes into, well, how do you create a business? The first part is the legal part of it. Choose a name and get your domain name and do the paperwork for your state. decide, are you a sole proprietor? Do you want to have a corporation? And what kind of corporation? And what does that really mean? And all of that's covered in the book. And then at the end of each chapter, there's what's called action steps, where it tells you this is what you've learned. Now go online to your state and get your name registered and do this and do this. If you simply read the chapter and follow the action steps, you will have your product at the end of the book ready to go into the marketplace, and you can start monetizing what you've been thinking about for what might be years, and all of a sudden becomes a real thing.
I love that. I have a lot of nieces and nephews who are always asking me questions about business, and now I have a resource to just say, just go read this book, because they're always asking me, well, should I be a corporation? Should I be a sole proprietor? So what does that mean? So to answer that question, like when people say, do I need a corporation, or do I need to register my company as an LLC? What is the best advice for someone who just says, I want to start making money on the side. Do I need an LLC?
Well, those questions come up daily, right?
Yeah.
And I think what happens a lot, especially when someone has an idea they're very passionate about, is they just start creating the idea and they don't worry about building a company. What happens at the end of the day when you do that is you have a really great product and you have no infrastructure to sell it. You haven't done what's needed to make a business so that it has a place to be sold. I actually have worked with companies who, they have brilliant engineers attached to them, and they create really cool software company because they know how to do it. They have an app, they have all these things, but they don't have anywhere to sell it. They just have a thing because they didn't start at the beginning, which is you need a company and a venue in which to sell this once it's done. And so the book talks about that, and it's in order. Just do it in order, and just know that you'll be ready to have those sales and have the marketing do what it's supposed to do, because you've already done the things before that makes it possible for all of that to work at the end.
Let's talk about marketing for a little bit, because, in today's day and age, it can be really confusing and daunting, especially like, our age group. If you're 40 plus, it used to be totally different than what it is now. Everything's online. What advice do you give to companies and what they should be doing for marketing?
Well, I've actually learned a lot of that the hard way. My whole life is built on learning things the hard way. And if you learn from your mistakes and move forward, then that's kind of the lesson from making that mistake, which makes me the smartest person in the world, because I've made that many mistakes and learned from them. So on marketing, that's a great question for me myself, because I am prone to wanting to just create something for the self-satisfaction of creating it. And the process of creation is so fulfilling to me that at the end of the day, when it's all done, I feel really great that I created this book or this app or this product, that I want to move on to the next product because it makes me feel really great to create it. And then it just sits there because no one's doing the marketing. So the key to the marketing is to get marketing on board early. And it starts with figuring out who your customer is. And if you don't know who your customer is, you don't know who you're going to market to. And if you were to send out a survey early in the game to people interested in a product similar to what you're going to create, you can find out what it is that they want. You can do this two ways. You can create a product and try and find a market for it, or you can look at the market and decide what the market needs and then create that product. And the latter is the smarter way to do it. And so marketing starts at the very beginning. What do my clients want? What do they need? For example, I'm looking at creating a health app. Let me go look at other health apps, and then I'm going to read the reviews, and I'm going to read what it is they say they wish this health app had that it doesn't have. And then I'm going to create that product that fills that need. That's a much smarter way to do it than to create something, then hope someone's going to buy it. So marketing comes in as one of the very first steps what do my customers want? And then how do I fulfill that need? It's at the beginning.
Mhm. I love that, because I think a lot of times people think, oh, I have this great thing and it works so good. But they don't really know who really needs it, and they don't have their audience at all. And
Yeah.
so then they have no one to sell it to, because they're like, oh, this widget works so great, but they have no one to sell it to because they don't know anyone that needs it, right? They
That's
just have a cool thing.
That's exactly the point. Figure out what people need and then go do that. But that's marketing. That's doing the research and doing the surveys and the things that give you that information as to what it is people are looking for. Oh, okay, I can do that.
Yeah, and you're speaking my language, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs too. And when you say that you enjoy the creation process and then you feel so good after you create it, that's how I am. I just recently started some cute little children's books for pre-readers, and I just love creating them. And then I'm sitting back going, well, how come they haven't sold? Oh, maybe because I just keep creating them and I haven't marketed them because I'm thinking, I just want to create another one. It's so much fun.
I did that for years. The high was the creation of it. But at some point, if you're serious about having a business and monetizing that, you have to go way back to some other similar steps. And those highs are going to come from, it's a huge dopamine rush to look at a book all printed, and here you've got this great book. Well, who's going to buy that? Who wants that? And maybe it ends up being a Christmas present for your nieces and nephews and you're done. But if that's not your intention, then you need to go back to marketing and what is it that people are actually looking for. And it changes all the time.
And it kind of opens up you say going back, you really have to find out who your ideal customer is for your product. And a lot of business owners don't do that. They don't really do the work of who is the one person that they're talking to. Explain what you say in your book about finding that ideal customer.
For the longest time, I was reading about marketing and it's saying, what is the avatar of your ideal customer? And I'm thinking, Avatar and James Cameron and the movie and these long, tall people that are blue that are flying through trees, and that's an avatar. But in real life, it's the ideal profile of the person that you want to target to sell to. And you look at demographics and you look at age groups and you look at where they live and you look at their education, and all these things come into play. And in my book and also online, brain2bank.com, you can download an avatar worksheet and you work through the questions that you need to find out who your ideal customer is. And now that you know who that is, you do two things. One, you create a product that's going to be filling the needs and the wants and desires of that profile. And two, then you're going to know who to market to demographically to get to the people who are that profile. And if you don't do that at the beginning, then you don't create the correct product and you don't market to the right people. You've lost the purpose of why you're creating the product. And it all goes together. But doing that avatar needs to happen early in the game so that your product or service actually appeals and fills a need of that avatar.
Yeah, I think that's really important. It sounds like the worksheet that you have really narrows it down to that niche, because I think a lot of business owners, including myself, think, oh, I have a marketing company, a web design company. Everyone needs a website, so I should just market to everyone, right? Every business owner. But instead of just if you fill out that worksheet you're talking about, it sounds like you can really narrow down who that one person is, so you can go and market to that person, which instead of just saying everyone needs it, which means nobody is going to buy it, right?
Yeah, you can't be everything to everybody. So who do you want to be? And it's really much better to be a big fish in a small pond. So choose that niche market. Maybe your website's for moms that stay at home and want to work from home, and they have small children, and that really narrows down who it is that you're going to market to. But then you've got a narrow laser point on who you're marketing to, and you know just what to say to them and what to provide for them that fills that need, and then you're off and running.
Yeah, I like that. I have a client who, one of my first web design clients was a horse footing company. And people don't even know what horse footing is unless you're in the dressage space or dressage arena, which is the horses that dance around on the sand or on the ground. And they make the sand that goes in the arena. And I just thought that was like so niche. I'm like, how many people buy horse footing? Like, I've never heard of this in my life, but they have that specific demographic of people who use it. And they're in with all the people who do Olympics and all the people who actually do dressage, which is a very small niche in the horse world, right?
Let's talk a little bit about profitability. Let's switch into that. So we've got our target market, we're getting our strategic plan, our why all done. How do we make money? What's the next step?
Well, I think it comes back to doing that basic research of who's in the market, and knowing your competition is always a very important part of what's going on. Do the research, find out who's selling what that's similar. Hopefully yours isn't identical to something else. You got to figure out what it is you've got different and better. Maybe it's cheaper, maybe it's for a very small demographic the other competition is not paying attention to. And then it becomes about that target marketing. And if you can nail who your customer is and get that right down to the specifics, and your marketing is targeted there, the profitability takes care of itself, because you're filling a need, because you've already done your homework as to what that need is. And then the sales start coming. And then, of course, you have to figure out the word of mouth part of that, which is always the best marketing, and get people talking about it. And so that comes with blogs and comments and social media postings, to where people are reading about it and they become exposed to it. And people who have experience with your product are saying, yeah, this is really great, you should try it. And it's a snowball effect, and it's a very small little snowball in the beginning. And if you do it right, hopefully that rolls down the hill and becomes a bigger small snowball as you go.
Yeah. I think you have to still reinvest in your company. I mean, some people can make a profit, but if they're not running their company properly, then the profit doesn't matter, because they haven't structured their company correctly.
Well, I think that's a great point. And the other part is this: if you've ever watched Shark Tank, at the end of the day, every single one of those people standing up there sweating bullets, the people who are thinking about investing in your company, they want to know the numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you don't win. You have to know enough about finances. And that's why there's a chapter in the book about finances. And finances can be daunting, and they can be overwhelming, and they could be not in your wheelhouse at all, but a basic understanding of how that works. And you should know, where are your numbers? What does it cost to produce your product? What are you selling it for? What overhead and expenses do you have that are going to take part of that profit? What's left for you? If those numbers don't make sense, why are you doing it? And so you need to understand, at least on a basic level. And then, for heaven's sakes, hire out the rest of it. Hire someone to do the accounting. Hire someone to explain to you where you are, what your numbers are, and what you need to do next month to do better. And understanding, if I sell 20 this month and this is where I am, but I want to be here, I need to sell 30 more next month. And just knowing what the target is and how to get there is essential. And people don't pay attention to that. They just want to look at how beautiful their product is. But you've got to look at the numbers and then get someone to help you if you're not a numbers person.
I love that. You outsource and hire out is very important in business.
Yeah, you can run your business by yourself in your kitchen, but it looks like you got a team of 20 people if you know where to outsource. And outsourcing, you become the general contractor, and you're in charge of hiring the subs. So you've got a sub that's over finances, you got a sub over marketing. Maybe that's split into marketing and then social media. You've got someone who, if you got a book, they're in publishing. You have the people that you manage. What happens when you do that is you get the best person in the industry in each one of those. And all of a sudden, instead of paying them a payroll, they're subbed out as a person that you pay as you go. You don't have the overhead, and you have expertise in each one of those areas. And so you get a fabulous product at the end because you got to pick and choose each one of them, and they're the best in each one of those fields. And that's the beauty of outsourcing.
Yeah. I think the formula I learned is to have someone that runs, like you say, each department, right? And then under them is 1 to 2 people that they're managing is the goal. And then they're reporting to you. So you're not in the trenches so much anymore. What's the exit strategy? So, a lot of times we're running a business and so many people don't have an exit strategy, and all the baby boomers are kind of just walking away from their business nowadays. They didn't plan for an exit strategy.
Well, I think you have to go in your business asking yourself 2 things. One, do I want to run this business for the next 5 or 10 or 20 years? Or 2, do I want to run it for 3 to 5 years and make X amount and then sell it and then go start another business, which is what I love to do because I love to start new businesses. But someone in their 20s or 30s might say, this is my baby and I want to run it for the next 30 years. But you still need an exit strategy. So after those 30 years, are you going to sell it to your kids? Are you going to do mergers and acquisitions and sell it to someone else? And that brings up another point, that if you do a really great job, someone out of the blue comes and says, hey, I want to buy your company. And you haven't thought about, well, what if someone wants to buy my company? What do I want to do? And this goes way back to choosing your strategy of what kind of company am I? Am I a sole proprietor? Am I a corporation? Am I LLC? And you realize down the road that, well, if you're an LLC, it's easier to sell your company. And it's not that you can't sell it as a sub S, it's just different. And you make those decisions earlier on. So just come prepared that at some point you're going to sell it, whether that's 5 years or 10 years or 20. So choose your entity, what type of business you're going to be in the beginning, and be prepared. I had a company that chose the wrong entity, and I went to sell their company in a merger and acquisition. We had to restructure their whole entire company, and we had to write a business plan they never had just to get these guys to look at it because they required those things to buy it. We had to go back 12 years of things they never did. And so the exit strategy comes with what kind of corporation. For heaven's sakes, write a business plan and keep it updated. You'll change your mind about things you're going to do along the way because you'll find a better way to do it. Update the business plan to reflect that as you go. It just takes minutes. And it takes weeks to go and do it later because you didn't do it when you go to sell your company. All of those are about exit strategies. So do it in the beginning. Even if you think you'll never sell, at some point you will. Either you'll pass away and something has to happen to it, or you'll decide to sell, or someone will want to buy it and you'll start thinking about it. So do it in the very beginning.
Tell us where you can reach you, Dorine.
Well, the best place right now is to investigate the website, brain2bank.com. I also, my business website is alpha81, ALPHA 81.com. Either one of those will get you to me, and there's a contact form there. Shoot me an email. I'm happy to answer questions and tell you what's next. I'll just tell you the Brain to Bank is probably the most exciting project I've done to date because I really feel like it will help millions of people get their idea out of their head into the marketplace and start making them money instead of just staying in their head and not doing anything.
I love that. We'll put the brain2bank.com and alpha81.com in the show notes so people can go and contact you there. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks for being here, everyone. And if you're thinking about publishing a book, we're happy to work with you. Reach out to us at eliteonlinepublishing.com. Hit the author submission, and we'll see if you're a good fit for us. We'll see you next time. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye.
Hey, are you looking to increase your revenue, build credibility, and elevate your brand? This podcast is brought to you by Elite Online Publishing, an innovative publishing and full spectrum marketing company. They will publish and market your book to make it a #1 bestseller. Becoming an author is the best way to market your business. So contact them at eliteonlinepublishing.com today. All of their authors become #1 bestsellers.